dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Now it's truth or dare. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Now it's truth or dare. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare to speak the truth. Look, I dare.
Yo, FANATICz, episode 44, pumping them back to back. They just dropped the college football rankings, so I didn't even want to play with it, and I ain't done. You know, I've been slacking. So let's jump back into this FANATICz and college football. The season winding down, so let's start talking about it, right? Because I already got my discrepancies in this whole thing, even though I appreciate them doing the playoff finally. You know what I mean? I'm so glad college football finally is getting over the politics of the game and letting people play for championships, but it's still a lot of politics at the end of the day, because a lot of these schools are staples of college football that the powers that be want to see them in the mix, just like we saw last year with the whole Florida State, Alabama, picking Alabama over an undefeated Florida State team just because it's Alabama. You know, I got nothing but respect for Alabama. I love Nick Saban, man. He's to me the greatest coach college football history. He's the reason why a lot of schools, is the reason why they had to do what they do now with the NIL and let other teams win, because Alabama it owned the whole college football, man. They had that shit on a lot in a chokehold. You know, it was hard for other teams to get over them. Georgia had to work their ass off to get better than them. But back to this ranking, you know, this is as of week 13. The new poll just came out yesterday, November 19th, 2024. Number 1, Oregon. Can't argue that. Undefeated. They almost lost this weekend, though. But I think they're the best team in the country. They deserve to be number 1. They beat Ohio State. That game went to the wire, though. That's Ohio State's only loss. They're number 2. You know, that game could have went either way. You feel me? Easily could have went either way. Texas, number 3. Texas, I'm not sure how good they really are, because I just feel like they didn't get that SEC schedule where they really had to play the gangsters. You know, they only played Georgia and then Oklahoma, who just came over to the SEC with them. Other than that, they didn't play Ole Miss. They didn't play Tennessee. They didn't play Alabama. You know, I'm still not sold with Texas yet. Even though they beat, I want to say, the Gators. You know, I'm not sold. Texas ain't that. They played Texas A&M last game of the season. You know what I mean? That'll be interesting, because Texas A&M's on the bubble. They keep winning out and beat a Texas team. That'll be a very good game, and it's an in-state rivalry. You know, that Texas shit with the recruiting, that shit should be a damn good game. Penn State, number 4, they ain't playing nobody. I'm talking about, I don't know anybody they beat this year of value. You correct me if I'm wrong. But they're number 4. And that's got a lot to do with the preseason ranking. I know they one loss for sure is Ohio State. So I guess that looks good because it's your only loss. But they have dominated opponents they played, but they haven't played nobody. Indiana, number 5. That's the interesting team. That's the team. It's great for college football to see a team like Indiana in the mix with all these blue bloods. New coach, come in there. They're in the game. They had an 8-year extension after one season going 10-0. You know, they still got to play these 2 more games, and one is this weekend against Ohio State. Super interesting, like how that gonna play out. You know, and it's gonna be interesting how it plays out if Ohio State wins, and that Indiana only got 1 loss, and that 1 loss is to Ohio State. I just don't punish them out the playoffs when they're the only undefeated team besides Oregon left in this whole group in college football right now. If they lose that game, because it took y'all forever to even put them in the top 5, and I feel you, they ain't playing nobody, but shit, they undefeated. See, I'm rooting for that, because they're just not a blue blood. It's a change. That's why you want to see stuff like this. You need to see new teams in the mix. It's good for the sport. Notre Dame, blue blood. You know, we already know Notre Dame. They got that history. They up there with the Ohio States. and the Alabamas. You know, they're not like they was in the 70s and the 80s, 60s. You know, but they've been pretty good still the last like 10 years, and they look pretty good this year. You know, running the ball, good defense. They're like any typical Notre Dame team. The matter is, can you be the SEC team in that with your style? Are you just as physical as a good SEC team? That's where it'll be interesting to see. Because listen, that's when you're gonna hear my discrepancy gonna come in. I love the SEC, but let me finish this little number 7 Alabama. I'm starting to feel some type of way because Bama is still that blue blood shit. See what I'm saying? They got 2 losses, one to Vanderbilt. Who the other one they lost to? Oh, I believe it's Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? But the SEC just beat up on each other. Miami, number 8, they only got 1 loss. Their 1 loss is to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is like 6-4. They're solid. They're trying to rebuild. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, they was a decent, very good program. You know, they got some history. They definitely got a history beating Miami. That's 2 years straight. If you saw what happened last year, Miami was supposed to beat their ass and lost again. So now Georgia Tech got a mind shit over them. So that's the type of shit Miami wasn't supposed to go through because people want to see, and I live in Miami, Florida, right? They've been waiting to see this Miami get back to that glory day shit forever. You know, not forever. You know, since the 2000, late 90s Miami. You know what I mean? They've been waiting on that shit because they were another level raw. With all that South Florida talent running around in that bitch. Come on, man. And Georgia Tech lost. They got to bounce back from that, point blank. They need to. That needs to be the only loss of the season. They lose another one, you know, but I still like what Cristobal doing over there, for real, because this is 2nd year, and I know that recruiting is about to bust wide open, especially with like Florida State and Florida ain't doing shit right now, and he in Miami. Like, the state of Florida is great recruiting, but South Florida is, because it's the most populated part of Florida, Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Man, there's a lot of talent just South Florida alone. The rest of the state raw as fuck too with talent. So that's why you always see one of the Florida schools, when they hot because of the recruiting shit. They get them kids from here. The state going to one of them is pressure. Number 9, Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a mean offense. I love that quarterback Jackson Dart. He nice. He NFL. He real nice. You know. 2 losses. I can't off the top of my head. I know Georgia was 1. If I'm correct, did they beat Georgia or Georgia beat them? That's a tough. I can't remember. Actually, you might have to excuse me on that one. I might have misquoted, but they got 2 losses. Let me keep going, because after Ole Miss is Georgia, and Georgia just beat Tennessee, and Tennessee right behind that, number 11. So 7 Alabama, 9 Ole Miss, 10 Georgia, 11 Tennessee, all 2 losses, and they just basically beat up on each other. You know, Bama got a loss to Vanderbilt, and then they got their loss to Tennessee. Tennessee just lost to Georgia, and I can't remember who the other loss is to. See what I'm saying? Ole Miss. See, I got to go through I know Georgia lost to Alabama, was one of their losses. Can't remember who the second one is to. It might be Ole Miss. I can't remember. I don't want to act like I know off the top of my head. But 2 losses, 7, 9, 10, 11 SEC. And let me tell you something. They're going to make sure 3 of them bitches going to be in that motherfucker. I promise you, at least. Right? Number 12, and they're actually the number 12 team in the country. They're going to put, when the playoff is done, the top group of 5 gets that 12 spot. You know, this is my discrepancy with the group of 5 shit. Like, you got Army, they're undefeated right now. They're number 24. You know, 1 year, there's going to be a year, you're going to see about 2 or 3 group of fives undefeated. Right? Playing with rankings, might be ranked. Just like Cincinnati did about 4 or 5 years ago. Went undefeated. And everybody and their mom was like, they were damn near weren't going to go into the playoff when there was 4 teams. But it's like, no, they're undefeated, and they're playing good teams. They're playing opponents. They done played a couple of Power 5 schools to go undefeated. The rest was their conference, which is group of 5. But, see, that's shit I don't like, man. It's going to be a year, I promise you'll be more than one group of 5 team to get in there. I hope they get it right, though. I hope either they got to redo the format or just make sure you have this thing built for if you got a couple of group of 5s playing around, especially in that top 10, because they're undefeated and the way they're winning, they're showing high level of football execution. Let them play for this playoff, man, because that's why they're not. College football still ain't got it yet. People are playing in conferences, they don't have no chance of winning a championship. What is the point of playing a sport if not to win it all? Just because we're in a smaller conference. But you might be one of the best teams in the country. Your coach might have a great strategy. Don't mess around and grab a bunch of good players. That's this type of shit I'm discrepancy about. One is the SEC is going to still get love. You can just see it. They're going to make sure it's going to be a few of them in there. I promise you. And then fuck around, let people lose, they're going to still squeeze it in. And you got South Carolina, Texas A&M outside this top 12. South Carolina already got 3 losses, but they just beat a good... Who was South Carolina just beat? Was it Texas A&M? No. It was... man, you got to try to remember off the top of my head who South Carolina just beat. I just watched the game. You gotta excuse me. But they look good right now. See what I'm saying? Oh, no. I was about to say Clemson, but they don't play Clemson till the end of the season. I know it's an SEC team. Oh, Missouri. And at the time, Missouri was ranked. And that's funny too, because when Missouri lost that game, they were already ranked low 20s. When before that game, they lose the game, they're still in they went down like a spot. See how they got Missouri just hanging around? Let Missouri win their next couple of games. Some shit happened. They're going to figure out a way to make sure some SEC get in there. Because people just know, and we do know this, listen, there's no doubt about it, that's the best conference in college football. As much as I'm a Big Ten guy, you see my Wolverines over there, right? You see Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana, 4 out of the top 5 teams, Big Ten. But that's the problem with the Big Ten. After that is mediocrity. You know what I mean? There's nobody middle of the pack. It's either, Illinois is solid too. But they're way down there. They're 25. And then I don't know how good they really are. They're trying to play somebody that's decent and get smashed. So, but I mean, you call them middle of the pack. Minnesota 6-4. But SEC, you got all these 2-loss teams, but then it just goes. Then you go to South Carolina, who's 7-3. You go to LSU 6-4, and they're down this year, and that's not them. Florida, it's if Florida plays this dude at quarterback, I can't say his name. I think DJ Lagway. When he plays, they look like a top 25 team. And I've been said that since the new coach took over. This kid Mertz that starts for them is decent, but he don't fit the dude's offense. He puts up good numbers, but Bud's offense runs way different with this Lagway kid because they got a running attack. They mesh with their throwing game, and they can't do it the same with Mertz in there. Lagway go out there, they look like a top 25 team, and Lagway ain't nothing but a sophomore. Freshman or sophomore, if I'm correct. I'm telling you. Watch how Florida going to be next year. That's why they don't want to fire the coach. Because they're he leave, the kid going to transfer. But the dude who's the coach is taking a while to get it going. But when they showed signs like they right there, and Florida's one to see. That's why the SEC is the SEC. A down LSU, a down Florida team, a down who's not also performing to their level. Kentucky, Missouri's not as good as we thought they were. They still can compete. They'll still give the Bamas, the Tennessees, the Georgia, all them trouble. Like them boys still got to come and play. The SEC is a top. It's a conference. I'm not gonna argue that. Big Ten just top heavy. But back to this poll, this number 12, right? Boise State, and that's the only group of 5 in this conversation. The rest is Power 5. Boise State got one loss. They one loss to Oregon, and they went to overtime. Everybody else getting the business, and they got a Heisman. They got the best run back in the country. So they're number 12. Let me talk about teams that are on the outside looking in, and I like them. That's why I'm gonna feel some type of way still, because there's some teams that are just, you're gonna be like they should be in there. Number 13, SMU. They only got one loss. They're in the ACC. They just moved to the ACC, and they're already the second best team in that conference. Just moved up to the ACC. And when you watch them play, they got an explosive-ass offense. They got playmakers running around that bitch. I watched them play twice, and both times I was like jaw dropped at the guys they got, man. They got some receivers. They're running back fire. Them boys are at another speed than a lot of teams. For real. They got speed, man. And they got a good quarterback that ever since he's been starting it, I don't think they lost a game. Now, the one team they lost to, who just lost their first game of the season, BYU, number 14. Only got one loss now, and they're in the Big 12. See, this is what I'm talking about with that SEC home cooking. You punishing SMU and BYU just because they're not in the SEC, basically. Because you got all type of teams ahead of them, but they're in the SEC. That's crazy. Number 15, Texas A&M, SEC. They've been there. They ain't just moved. They've been there. And they look good, too. I ain't going to lie. But now let me speak on the number 16 team. And I just want to salute this man because of the fucking great job he's doing. The fact that he's even in this conversation in his only second year of coaching at this school. Man, what a job he's doing, bro. Seriously. Like, it's scary. And the world's his oyster because you got NFL teams wanting to coach over there. And not even just any NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys. So once I said that, you already know what I'm talking about. Mr. Deion Sanders. And Colorado Buffaloes, number 16, only 2 losses. Travis Hunter playing like a fucking madman. This man is not playing at least 120 snaps per game. The kid is tearing it up, man. Shadur Sanders, elite quarterback talent. I want to see him in the NFL for real because he already has the poise of an NFL quarterback. I just feel like he's going to go right into the league and be nasty. Give him a team with some receivers, he's going to be all right. And then number 17, I just got respect for these. That's why I stopped here. I didn't want to keep going. But after that, I just saw teams like that. Right now, let's just go with these. Clemson. I watched Clemson play Pitt, and Pitt could have beat them. But the Pitt's got some talent, too, and a history. They got a lot of dudes they put in the league. They've been highly competitive, competed for championships. I think they won one somewhere in the 80s. But I watched them play. They got a lot of talent, boy. Like, them people been recruiting top 5 for the last 10 years. They have all type of NFL dudes running around on that defense and that offense. They nice. If they just put it together, I can see Clemson being a problem. But right now, my only thing I really, this kind of like, they got to let go of SEC favoritism, but they're going to do it. Because SMU is one of the top 12 teams in this country, no question. BYU, I don't want to knock them, I just ain't seen them play. I seen SMU play. But BYU, just before this last weekend, was undefeated. Was ranked number 6. So, They just got to bounce back. I know they've had a lot. They got some good history too. They've had some. At one time, they were considered quarterback U. I remember that. So, but let's just see how it folds out. Because at the end of the day, this really don't matter. Let's wait to the end of the season. Because you still have some big games, including this weekend with Ohio State, Indiana. That's a big one. See how that turn out. Eventually, Texas and Texas A&M going to meet up. Trying to think what else I know for sure. Going to play somebody with some. Eventually, it was somebody else I seen. I know Notre Dame plays Army this weekend. I like Notre Dame in that one, though. And Army undefeated. They're way down, though. They're number like 24. But you just got to wait till the end. You got to wait till teams play their conference championships. Then we can talk about it. Because it's going to be some upsets up in here. We're going to give somebody else a chance. But still love the game of college football. You know, still appreciate how the game's played with the variety of styles. And look forward to see how this thing turn out, man. You know, I don't know. I would love to see some changes, but I can't complain on what they've done to even give us a chance to watch college football in the playoff. But that's going to make some good football, man. I always say this. I'm gonna leave out with it. The reason why I love college basketball because the NCAA tournament is the rawest championship there is in American sports. Like that one loss, you're out tournament with 68 teams is fire. Can't 68 teams, bro, and always upsets. Always. I've seen teams be mid majors, what they call mid majors, like what college football called Group of Five. The way they do in the tournament, you can call them a Power Five now because they're recruiting off of that performances like Gonzaga. You know, they've been they're not in no power comp, but because they're always playing in that tournament against the top teams, you know, with the blue bloods, they become a blue blood themselves, and that's why you need college football to do it right. Get some type of way where you can get that second Group of Five team automatically in there. That will make for good football. But other than that, man, episode 44. It's your boy Dunn.